Hey guys, it's Carl here with WOLVOFFICIal.com. So, we're pretty far into our lesson on how to become a DJ. So, what I want to do for this particular episode is I just want to kind of go over the whole deal of becoming a DJ. It's not anything specific, um, but I took some notes on my phone and I want to see um, if I can connect with you in a way that's not only positive but also informing you of how to become a DJ and how to become a better DJ. So without further ado, I'm just gonna kind of go through uh, and touch on some notes that I've prepared for this. So DJs, what they do is they go on they act like how do I say this? They act like an entertainer for usually groups of parties and stuff like that. You have your backdoor party, which is could be performing at a house party, and then you have the other side of the spectrum, which is professional, I guess, DJs, where they're performing for really big crowds, really big crowds, and maybe you've heard of like the Electric Daisy Carnival or some bigger festivals that are out there. But yeah, so you have the two different spectrums of there, and you can honestly, it's hard to say, but what they're basically both doing the same thing, right? They're both spinning records or electronically for a crowd. I know this is kind of the elephant in the room, and might even be beating a dead bush, but as far as getting my point across, there is two different spectrums here to consider when wanting to be a DJ, and you can look at it and you can be profitable at both different ways, at both different spectrums, right? If you're just performing in a backyard parties and stuff like that, yeah, you can still make a little bit of money. Notice I said a little bit of money. I don't know if you're gonna go crazy because you need lots of people at your backyard events, unless you're gonna jack up the price and provide better quality. But yeah, you have your backdoor backyards, I like to call them, things that you can do where you don't have to necessarily be you don't necessarily have to have a lot of people to make money that way. You can just jack up your price, your rate. Say the going rate is like $50 an hour or something like that. Well, as compared to performing at a festival, it might be several thousand, maybe even more than that. And they do it per night, versus you might just be doing it per hour. Or the general rule of thumb is that sometimes you'll. I don't want to say sacrificing quality because I want to give credit to some of the bigger DJs because they're definitely qualified. But I'm just trying to show you that there's two ways to make money doing this. You can jack up the price, or you can keep your price the same and just provide more people to come to your show. So that's that. All right, let me keep going through here, and so that's what is going on. There is just two different ways of doing it, and we haven't gotten into record sales and stuff like that because that's a whole nother ball game. It's no different than a musician or an artist, I don't think, in the sense that you still have your DJ stuff that you do live. Like maybe you might be performing other people's stuff, but I think in order to get a little bit bigger and more well branded, is you really got to start coming out with your own stuff, your own music. I know there's a lot of you out there thinking, yeah, well, no, you don't. Well, maybe you don't, but you probably you can tap into a different market, and I just think that it would be wise to always try to do that. But if you're comfortable with just playing people's other music, I'm not hating. You can do that, and I'm just trying to show you the different possibilities. So that's that. You can be an in-house producer So say you want to start doing your own stuff. Let's go down that road. Say you want to start producing your own stuff, and I just want to say that there's a couple things going on here. If you want to start producing your own stuff, you can either produce your own stuff, which means you're in there on the as the engineer and the as a musician or as a producer in the studio. You're in there. You're making your beats and stuff like that, and that's great. Also, you could have somebody else do it for you. That's perfectly fine. Just keep in mind that they're going to collect some more money than you probably will. Being the DJ, you would think that you would, but no. The fact is, you're outsourcing somebody to make the beats for you, and have the artist go and sing over if there is one. They're gonna get a cut too, so you have two people you're giving cuts to, and then it might be up to your record label if you're signed. If you're not, it's not a whole lot different. You'll just receive more money from your profits if you are not signed to a record label, because money gets distributed um, in a lot of different directions. So I always have advice. I'm all about keeping 100% of the profits. I always am. But I will say there is something to be said for outsourcing some of the things too. You can get some very qualified people in there making, really good vocals, other people singing, and then you have, instrumentals and stuff like that. So that's that part. That's how we got into the whole other side of things. Okay. So let's kind of move on a little bit. You have to you got to know what's in it for you. If you're doing this DJ thing, you don't you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan as to how long you're going to be doing this for. You got to think as long term as possible. That's why I always say that if you're going to be doing the DJ thing, you want to look as far ahead as humanly possible. Do you want to be producing your own stuff, or do you want to be giving money away? Don't take my tone for what it is. I'm just saying that if that's what you want to do, if you want to give people money, give away money, I might be sounding a little harsh. Because think of like a record label. If you're independent versus record label, you're going to get more money from sales, from music sales, not gigs. Wait, gigs, yeah, either way, you're going to collect more individually than if you're at the record label. So you got to think long term as to what I want to do, or what do you want to do? Do you want to go long term with a record label, or do you want to go long term by yourself? If you want to go long term by yourself, you need to learn how to produce, how to market, the whole 9 yards. Everything. You're pretty much wearing a lot of different hats if you're going to do it independently. If you're going to produce, then if you're going to have a record label, go the record label route and have somebody else produce your stuff for you, then more power to you. That's always an option. So one of the best things that you can do is get out there and try it. When you're let's see here. If you're going to be producing your own stuff, it's fine to lock yourself in your room and make bangers, make hits, as they call them, and then just throw them up on a SoundCloud or something, a website where you can market that music. You never have to perform. You can just make songs and throw them online. Will you be able to sell them? Probably not, unless you're using like beatport.com, where you're using other people's material and it's all licensed and whatnot, and you're just getting a little cut. They're doing that now, where DJs can make a cut off of other people's music all online. So it's pretty cool. But you definitely have that option, or you can go and you can do stuff live. If you want to do stuff live, that's great. People. I believe it's a whole different experience when you're doing it live. It's just. You can really learn what makes people dance and stuff like that if you do it live, and that's just one perk of doing it live, versus being very creative. I think in your room or in your studio, So after that, you wanna really learn some techniques when you're going at this DJ stuff. You want to be able to learn to mix and be on key, and be on the tempo as well. One of the best programs I think that I used, I think it's called Mixed in Key, and basically it'll take your whole compilation of songs that you have on file, and it will then put the stuff in keys. Because when you're mixing your songs, you don't want them to be not in key. You just want everything to be real smooth, the best you can. That's the secret, like as if it was one song. At least that's how I was taught. So you want to learn that, and if you can learn some programs like producing programs, you can do that as well. That's getting a little bit deeper into the whole DJing thing. But Logic Pro is a good music editing software, and then Pro Tools is another one, and then Ableton is something that I've been hearing lately that's pretty good. Okay, just looking here. Yeah, and we already talked about you can make your own song, and then you can throw that song up on any kind of social media platform. That we'll talk about later in some of the marketing stuff. But, alright. So, just going into a little bit of the marketing side of things, you want to have a good establishment online. You want to make sure that you're constantly keeping in touch with the people that you are who are your fans and whatnot. And you want to make sure that you have a strategy in place where you're able to do the music and DJing, but also you want to be able to talk to your fans so that they're constantly informed. So you got to figure out ways to automate things and make them easier for you so that you can balance everything. See, that's the part if you're going to do it independently. But if you have a record label, all you got to do is show up. Don't get mad at me. This sounds kind of simple, but you just need to show up. I don't know how else to say it. You're not really making music. I wouldn't imagine in the way that an artist that is not signed would. Which means the person who is signed to a label doesn't have to worry about marketing. They don't have to worry about the accounting. They don't have to worry about any kind of touring stuff. They just need to kind of be able to write the song. And even if they do write the song, they do or they probably don't. But I'm just saying they need to show up and record their voice, and they need to show up to perform. So that's that. That's going a little bit into the marketing side of things. And you want to make sure that you're communicating with your fans. So you got to be able to juggle that. So this will be it for this episode, and then we'll have more to come, and I'll try to go deeper into how to become a DJ. All right, good luck.